2023 SWAC Baseball Tournament. Game 2 features Bethune-Cookman and Southern University. Bethune-Cookman, the number 2 seed in the East. The Jaguars on a 3-game winning streak. They are the hottest team coming into this SWAC tournament, a 3-game winning streak. Hottest team coming in on the 18th field. As we welcome you back to Atlanta. Game 1 in the books, in case you're just joining us. Florida A&M beat Texas Southern 9-1. And Game 2 features Bethune-Cookman and Southern University. Charles Bishop down on the field will have mid-game interviews with both head coaches and post-game. The Hall of Famer Roger Cador won 14 SWAC championships as the head coach of Southern University. His Jaguars coming up next against Bethune-Cookman. I'm Charles Edmond. Glad you can join us. Well, Coach, the Jaguars and the Wildcats. You got a coach in Chris Crenshaw's won a SWAC championship. Bethune-Cookman, a really, really good story. Young head coach. He's been through a lot. The program was down for 2 straight years, did not play, and we're going to get into all of that. But another good matchup coming up here in game number 2.
Yeah, I think it's an ideal matchup with Cookman and Southern, and we'll see who prevails as we go down the road here. The weather is ideal. It's a beautiful day. The skyline is really sticking out. And, Armstrong have done a great job for Southern all year, leading off, so we'll see what he does here.
Well, Jalen Armstrong, the center fielder, .322 during the season. And a little delay start, a little issue with the equipment, the protection for Bethune-Cookman's.
I think it's a relay switch where they can talk to the catcher from the dugout, like the big leaguers, for the signs.
And that's the catcher, Escobar, as Jalen Armstrong will lead it off. Facing the righty Santos, here is the first pitch, and it's inside, ball 1. We are underway here in Atlanta.
Santos is a pretty good pitcher with good velocity, and he's going to pound the strike zone. This is what's interesting. You got to be ready to hit here. They had a good swing, fouled it off right here. I expect Armstrong to be a little late, a little tardy on Santos because of his velocity. So we'll see what happens.
Just underway here in game 2. His fastball just misses. Bethune-Cookman, 20-9 in the division. 29-25 overall.
I suspect that Santos is going to try and stay outside. That's right over the bag.
Fair ball, and it's going to be a base hit. Armstrong with a single to lead it off for the Jaguars. Right down the left field line, Roger Cador.
Right down the line, right over the bag. That's one of those where, the third baseman couldn't do much about. Armstrong runs very well, and with 2 strikes, that's the telling tale. Are you going to be willing to fight and put the ball in play and buy another opportunity? And that's what Armstrong did.
Armstrong with 37 stolen bases during the season. So we'll see if they do some early running. First pitch inside, ball 1 from the righty Nolan Santos. 7-3 during the season with a .343 earned run average, 124 strikeouts.
He's a high strikeout guy.
There are 2 pitchers with over 100 strikeouts during the season, Texas Southern and Bethune-Cookman, with 2 pitchers set season marks in terms of strikeouts in a season. And Santos was one of those for Bethune-Cookman.
We don't think Armstrong is going to try Escobar. Escobar is one of the better throwing catchers, so it's going to be a pretty cat and mouse game pretty much.
Here in Atlanta at McNeese Ballpark. Glad you can join us for game 2. This pitch strike call, home plate umpire Joseph Smith with Derek Everett at first, Chris Booker at second, and Calvin Hill at third. Joe Smith and Derek Everett will be working the NCAA baseball regionals. So they already have some work lined up postseason when this is over with. Going to the regionals, that's always a special accomplishment. Whether you watch it as a fan, if you're a player in it, if you're a coach in it, Roger Cador, you are that.
And it's
as
good.
a fan, it is always wonderful to be a part of the regionals.
Well, and it's a really special honor for the SWAC. Over the years, they never had.
Here's a double play ball. Toss to second, 6-4-3, 2 outs. We're scoring at home. Tailor-made double play, as they call it. Garcia to Allison over to first. 6-4-3 double play. Tailor-made, good hop, the turn.
The thing about it is that they didn't rush. They knew they had time, so they took their time and made the correct delivery and then the throw to first.
Bring up O'Neal Burgos with the bases empty. 309 during the season with 13 home runs. His pitch strike called.
And the thing about, we were talking about the SWAC umpires, which we've got 3 of them have been participating. We never had more than 1 to do the regional. And we have Joe Smith and Derek Everett to do it, and that's an honor. And I know both of those guys. They're really good umpires.
And you've got one that'll be in the super regionals as well, Eric Gaucher.
Yeah, and that's really good.
His pitch is high.
And the name Gaucher, where I come from, means you're left-handed. It's a French Creole word. If you're Gaucher, you're left-handed. Oh, and got a guy with a last name named Gaucher.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. So it's a wild pitch. Catcher can make the play. It's too late. It's a wild pitch. And that's the second game in a row in which you've had a swing and a miss, a wild pitch, and a runner gets to first. Typically when you see a play like this, catcher makes the play and is able to throw out the runner at first. But the second game in a row, we've seen the same thing happen, in which the runner gets to first.
It took a really high wicked hop, bounce off of the chest or shoulders.
The umpire was in the way as well, so that didn't help.
Couldn't get out of the way.
Escobar's chances.
Once that ball is up, he can't always make the right decision.
So a runner on for the Jaguars. It was a single and then a double play, and now Burgos is at first. Gustavo Nava-Sanchez, the catcher, 257 during the season with 3 home runs. And there's a ground ball. It's a base hit down the right side. Extra bases for Sanchez. Here's Burgos around second. Motors into third. Runner held up at first. Didn't really see the ball for some reason. Delayed in a second, but Sanchez got there.
That was a good piece of hitting.
So second and third for the Jaguars.
That double play was really big.
Let's take a look and see why he held up. Right down the line at first.
He decided why. He decided, yeah.
He didn't look at his third base coach or.
No, he didn't look. He was looking at the right fielder. I'm glad he decided to go.
So it's second and third, and the pitch is low. So the Jaguars have something going here, despite the double play. 2 hits, a wild pitch, and the Jaguars have a chance here to grab the early lead. Kyle Radcliffe, the DH, 284 during the regular season. And Radcliffe, a fly ball down the right side, foul territory. It's going to land just out of play. About 8 feet down that right side. Well, the Jaguars, 3-game winning streak coming in. Of all the teams, of all the 8, the Jaguars, 3-game winning streak. No other team has that going into this. And I was talking with Chris Crenshaw about this yesterday. He decided a couple of weeks ago, and he was kind of fiddling with his lineup. He decided a couple of weeks ago, we're going to go with this 9 based on just all the action, based on the season. We're going to go with this lineup, and it's kind of stuck and stayed for the last 2 or 3 weeks. They made that decision, and this is their lineup for the Jaguars. Pitch up and in.
Yeah, he's played around with several different lineups, and they really hadn't had a lot of production.
A chance for the Jaguars to grab the early lead on this pitcher Santos, 7-3 during the season, 2nd and 3rd here in game 2. Texas Southern lost game 1. FAMU wins game 1. Texas Southern will be right back here tomorrow morning. And now the count is 3-1.
Boy, if they can extend Santos here in the next couple of innings, this will go a long ways. But their bullpen is really quality.
Here's the 3-1, strike called. Count is full. Santos, 124 strikeouts. I was told that's one of the tops in the country.
Top in the country?
One of the top. According to their head coach, Jonathan Hernandez. And there's a swing and a miss on an inside pitch. Foul tip, catcher held it, side is retired. A lot of action for the Jaguars. There was 2 hits, a wild pitch, a double play, and 2 stranded for the Jaguars. We'll take a break, half inning, Southern nothing. Bethune-Cookman coming up as they will face Nicholas Wilson. We'll take a break from Atlanta. We'll be right back after this on the SWAC Digital Network. We welcome you back to Atlanta, game number 2 of the 2023 SWAC Baseball Tournament. In case you missed game 1, FAMU with a 9-1 win over Texas Southern. As you look at Bethune-Cookman's lineup, 1 through 9. And for Bethune-Cookman, we look at Highland Hall, all-conference first team. As well, Santos, also all conference. So to bring up Luis Torrero, the third baseman, leading it off. Well, the Jaguars had an opportunity. They stranded 2 in the first. Let's see what Bethune-Cookman brings, facing Nicholas Wilson. Won 5 games during the season. He was 5-2 with a .328 earned run average. Started 12 games during the season, 92 strikeouts and 79 2/3 innings pitched. Torrero, .346 during the season with 23 runs batted in. What do you see? I know you follow the West quite a bit, Roger Cador, but what do you see in this Bethune-Cookman team here as they come up in the bottom of the first?
Well, I got to see him play on a couple of occasions.
Okay.
I got to see him play in New Orleans, and then I got to see him play, I said New Orleans or somewhere else, and then I got to see him play in during the regular season against Alabama A&M. And I was impressed with their pitching staff and the shortstop play and catcher Escobar. And I came away very impressed with them. And I thought that because of their pitching, And they had arms in the bullpen. Not the everyday kind of arms, quality arms. And the kind you can win championship with. So that's basically what I saw.
Bethune-Cookman 29-25. 20-9 during the year. The pitch, call, third strike. Farrell caught looking, 1 out.
That's a good pitch right there by Nick.
Wilson, the junior, caught him looking. Right off the corner, good pitch.
I want to say something. What we need parents and people out there to understand, these coaches are trying to win championships, okay? That's what they get paid for, to win championship. And when their parents get sensitive about if their kids are not playing or they don't measure up with the same amount of ability like somebody else, that ain't going to change whether you write letters, you call in, you do whatever. It won't change your son's ability. You got me? So parents need to get back in line and take a page from what parents of yesteryears did when they allowed coaches to coach their kids.
Walk to Chun here, Coach Kador. We hit .311 during the season with 16 runs batted in, and Bethune-Cookman with their first base runner. What do you look at Nicholas Wilson, the righty? What do you see in terms of his pitches and what he can do to be effective?
Well, when he's throwing strikes with his fastball, he can really go off the plate very effectively with his off-speed pitch. And he gets better as the game goes along. Now, here's a guy that didn't do much last year, but Coach Crenshaw stayed with him because he realized he had upsides. And the upside has really paid off.
Highland Hall at the plate pops this up a mile high in the air. Shallow left center. Who wants it? Short, called off. And the left fielder, J.J. Rolon, hauls it in. Tough play. You got to have communication. Obviously, in that situation, Coach Kador, left fielder had the better angle. Shortstop backing up. Left fielder the better angle there.
Right. Which we'll see. The shortstop should not back up that way. That's the way you lose the ball. See, the ball kept carrying on. See, he drifting back. So now it's good that the left fielder come in.
Here's the pitch,
so
strike call.
You always want to teach them, your infielders to angle, go at an angle, because, you can do more to make adjustments.
Boris Pena at the plate for the Wildcats. This pitch, strike call. Pena, the senior, 295 during the season with 4 home runs, 36 runs batted in.
Now, this is where Nick is at his best when he's throwing strikes. Then he can use his second pitch right here.
There's the next pitch.
Ooh, right there.
Missed on the inner half. Joseph Smith behind the plate. Derek Everett, the first base umpire. Chris Booker, the second base umpire. And Calvin Hill at third.
The football player, Calvin Hill?
Here's 1-2. Foul off the mask.
We wouldn't be so fortunate. Huh?
Mask of the catcher, Gustavo Nava-Sanchez. Southern University with a chance in the first. They stranded 2. A 1-out walk to Chun, still at first. Chun just stole 1 base in 2 attempts during the year. Off the end of the bat and fouled it straight back. Centauria Black will have the next two really exciting games here on the back end. Grambling and Jackson State. Big old-time rivalry renewed. Jackson State, Omar Johnson.
Omar.
Should be a fun game. Here's the pitch.
Yeah, it
outside.
should be.
And Jackson State, a team that you're used to seeing near the top of the division standings. Obviously, it's been a different type of year, but Omar Johnson says, hey, it's the tournament. You never know.
You never know. That's why you play them.
Here's the pitch.
Remember, Texas Southern won the tournament one year when they only won 3 or 4 games all year. So you don't know if a team gets hot at the right time,
And you got 2 relatively young coaches, Jonathan Hernandez.
And Chris Crenshaw here.
And Chris Crenshaw. There's a pitch called, third strike on the inside corner. Pena caught looking, 2 strikeouts for Wilson. So 1 stranded, 2 strikeouts as we played 1. Top of the second inning coming up for the Jaguars. 7, 8, 9. Hunter Tabb, J.J. Rollon, Justin Wiley coming up. Scoreless, top 2, game 2. Coming up after this. Timeout on the SWAC Digital Network.
When you join the HBCU family, you become part of the tradition of breaking barriers in your community, breaking ground in your career, and bringing it with everything you do. From how you look to how you move in the classroom, on the court, and on the field. That's why Academy Sports and Outdoors is proud to celebrate the HBCU legacy and all those to add to it in their own way.
We welcome you back to McNeese Ballpark. Charles Edmond here, James Crenshaw, producer, Roger Cato. We're going to check in with Charles Bishop in a moment. He's working both dugouts. There's a ground ball foul off to the right side. Charles Bishop, let's check in with you here for game number 2. Good matchup here. Jaguars with an opportunity in the first. What are your thoughts so far early in this game?
I talked to both coaches, and they talked about really meticulously tracking these pitch speeds. One of the things, as we both know, they really haven't seen each other, so they're really meticulously tracking Nick Santos' pitch speeds as well as Nicholas Wilson's pitch speeds, so they can try to get some tendencies a little bit later on in the game.
All right, Charles, we'll be talking with you mid-game. And Roger Cato, that brings up an interesting point, in terms of these matchups you don't see during the regular season. I know a lot of fans would like to see, and I know in softball you used to have the softball roundup, kind of a mid-season type deal in which you have matchups of East-West. But in baseball, you got a couple of tournaments, the Urban Invitational, I think, a tournament here in Atlanta early on in which you have those crossover matchups. But you don't see these type of matchups that often. Is that something you hope to see, or is a call third strike? Radcliffe caught looking, 1 away. I'm sorry, Tabb caught looking.
Yeah, no, it's Evans.
I'm sorry, Evans.
Now we're getting into Tabb.
Oh, yeah, Tabb's at the plate. I'm sorry.
That's
You're
okay.
correct.
That's okay.
Evans at the plate.
Yeah, no, Tabb at the plate.
Tabb at the plate. I'm all over the place with my
That's
with my
okay. You got a lot on your plate.
Tabb at the plate. Yeah.
Let me help you eat some of that food. But no, it really doesn't matter, Charles. The ADs have to take into consideration finance. Is it financially feasible?
Fly ball to first in foul territory, and it's going to be caught at first as Burgos hauls it in. And it's quickly 2 out. J.J. Rollon at the plate, 218 during the year with a home run and 12 runs batted in.
Now we want to go back. Is it feasible financially to do that? And what benefit does it serve to do that? So that's what the ADs have to do. With the cost of athletics skyrocketing, they have to really, look at everything, bottom line,
Well, there are some regionally schools in regional distance, close distance, like Alcorn Southern, Southern Jackson State.
Yeah.
You could do maybe a Jackson, Texas Southern, perhaps, on an early weekend. But it is tough to stretch it. Bama State, a Bama State UAPB type thing. It doesn't happen often if you get these tournament situations,
No.
like in Houston, where
and New Orleans.
And
they
New
had
Orleans.
the Catch It this year. The Catch It tournament.
Yeah, the Cactus Jack.
Catch It Jack. That went on relatively well, and they had about 6 teams there.
Yeah.
And then they had 6 teams in New Orleans.
Yeah.
So you're getting some flavor where, some of the expenses picked up and teams can go and play. You got me?
Yeah.
And spare the burden on the athletic department.
This is pulled foul down the right side. But that's what makes a matchup like this so unique, in the fact that because you don't, and Charles Bishop talked about it, you're literally micromanaging every pitch, because you're really the feel-out process for a team that you don't see is a check swing low. They check at third, did not go around.
Yeah.
In baseball, how long does it take to feel out another team in terms of at-bats, pitching? How long does it take?
I don't know. It depends. I really don't know how long it takes to feel out. You know when you say feel out, what is going to make a difference? You see that man on that mound with that ball in his hand?
Yeah.
He's going to be the one that's going to determine how long it takes you to feel it out.
Yeah.
Let's see where that pitch is.
Close pitch. Ooh.
Too close to take. Yeah.
That could have gone either way.
Yeah. Yeah, too close to take. But I really don't know how long the pitcher determines how long it takes for us to feel people out. If they dominate them coming out of the bat, it's going to send a message. You got me?
Yeah.
And it helps our people. It sends a message to the offensive people, and it sends a message to his team. Okay.
Justin Wiley right back to the pitcher in the underhand. Toss is there, and the side is retired. Right place, right time. Nolan Santos hauls it in, and the side is retired. Jaguars strand their third runner. We played an inning and a half. Scoreless, in case you're just joining us. FAMU put Texas Southern in the loser's bracket. Texas Southern will play tomorrow morning at 9. We'll take a break here. Moya, Sofrain, and Escobar coming up after this timeout here on the SWAC Digital Network.
Let there be no doubt. You are ready for whatever comes next. You've got bars to raise, expectations to exceed, status quos to rise above. And you've come to the right place, because it all starts right here. Which is precisely why we are so proud to support HBCU programs.
When you join the HBCU family, you become part of the tradition of breaking barriers in your community, breaking ground in your career, and bringing it with everything you do. From how you look to how you move in the classroom, on the court, and on the field. That's why Academy Sports and Outdoors is proud to celebrate the HBCU legacy and all those to add to it in their own way.
Welcome back. Glad you can join us here on the SWAC Digital Network. Charles Bishop down on the field mid-game. He'll have interviews with both head coaches from both dugouts. James Crenshaw, producer. Roger Cador, the Hall of Famer. 14 championships as the head coach at Southern University. Charles Edmond here. Glad you can join us for Game 2, Day 1. First pitch to Moya, the DH. Strike call. We're underway here in this bottom 2. And here's a chopper up the middle. Shortstop charging, has plenty of time, and the toss is there. 1 away. Plenty of time as Wiley throws out Moya, the DH. 1 down.
The first baseman, number 16, Manny
Manny Sufrain, the senior, hit .298 during the regular season with 3 home runs and 27 runs batted in. The lefty facing Wilson. His pitch strike called. Well, Coach Kador, when you see your former team, the Jaguars, and you kind of follow them all year, the job that they did, I got a chance to watch them kind of midway through the season, and we talked about it at the top. It was kind of a struggle, but the last few weeks, as we talked about, Chris Crenshaw found a lineup he likes and is sticking with it and has paid off. Called third strike as Wilson with his third strikeout, 2 away.
Yeah, well, we pretty much felt this would be a pitching battle before the game started because we knew they were going with their number 1. And Nick Wilson have certainly been Southern's number 1 the last 5 or 6 weeks. So, and like I said, when Nick is throwing his fastball for strike, he's effective, which allows him to work off of the plate with his breaking pitch or secondary pitch.
They bring up the catcher, Irvin Escobar. His pitch misses outside, 1-1. Escobar, .295 during the season with 3 home runs and 24 runs batted in.
Escobar is one of the kids highly considered for the HBCU All-Star game in Seattle, which we will be bringing someone in here shortly to talk about that.
Here's the 2-1. Swing and a miss, foul tip. Catcher held it.
We should be bringing in Marvin Freeman, who is a former big leaguer, a Jackson State grad. It's going to be one of the coaches.
There's a fly ball in the left center field. Medium depth, plenty of room, and it's going to be caught in center. And the side is retired quickly, 2 away as Armstrong hauls it in. And so far, we have 5 in a row set down by this pitcher for the Jaguars, Nicholas Wilson. We'll take a timeout. Top 3, top of the lineup coming up for the Jaguars. Scoreless here on the SWAC Digital Network. Jalen Armstrong will lead it off, as you can see. Good game so far, a brisk ball game here in Atlanta. Pitch inside, ball 1. We are underway. Armstrong singled his last time up. Top of the lineup, Armstrong, Hendricks, and Burgos. 1, 2, and 3 for the Jaguars. Scoreless game here. The Jaguars have stranded 3. They stranded 2 in the first and 1 in the second. So they've had some early chances, Roger Kador. It's important to get those opportunities. And here's a ground ball to first, and an easy stepping on the bag right here, 1 away.
Normally when you're pitching, throwing strikes, you get a lot of easy outs.
3 unassisted. Got Lee Hendricks stands in. And we are joined at the other microphone by Marvin Freeman, former major leaguer, one of the coaches for the HBCU All-Star game that's going to be taking place here in the next few weeks, joining us here. Here's the first pitch. Up and in. The strike call. We appreciate you coming on.
Hey, it's good to be here. I'm glad you guys are having me on. It's good to be here. And you failed to mention that I'm a Jackson State alumni.
Yeah.
I was going to mention it.
I think Coach Kador did.
That's all right. I ain't going to let that get away. I know he's a Southern guy, so I'm going to make sure J-State get their shout out too.
Definitely. They'll be playing later on. It'll be a good game. This pitch called third strike, and this pitcher sailing right along as well. A pitcher's battle here to start, and quickly 2 away. So just talk about what you're seeing here. SWAC tournament here in Atlanta. And what do you talk about what you're seeing so far?
Well, the main thing I like is the pitching. Both guys are handling the ball well. They're both throwing strikes. The game's moving along quickly. Umpires calling a nice strike zone. And, you just got a flow that I like to have in a baseball game. Guys are getting ahead. They're throwing their pitches for strikes on both sides of the plate. And this is the kind of baseball that a pitcher enjoys watching.
And the pitchers are working quickly, too.
And I love watching it too, by the way, Marvin.
It almost makes you think they got a pitch clock out there as fast as these guys are going.
Speaking of the pitch clock, of course, the major leagues have that now, and it got a little bit of pushback in spring training. Games have been shortened. There's no doubt about that. There's a ground ball to third, deep third, throw across is there, and the side is retired. Boy, quick of an inning as you can get. As we go to the bottom of the third inning. We're going to keep it here, by the way, and talking with Marvin Freeman. What are your thoughts on the pitch clock for Major League Baseball?
I like it. I always was one of those guys that wanted the hitter to get in the box. That was one of the main things that I used to scream at them when they were stepping out, tying their gloves off, looking down at the ground, saying a prayer. Hopefully they didn't get that slider on the black. But I think it's an advantage for the pitchers because, if you don't know what you're going to throw on the next pitch, then you're really confusing yourself out there. So it keeps the game moving. It eliminates a lot of dead time. And, from a hitter's perspective, I think the advantage is for the pitcher because sometimes guys just step out because they're panicking or thinking about situations, and it kind of eliminates that in a way.
The game is long, and the data is showing the games have been shortened since the pitch clock. That is for sure. Talk a little bit about this HBCU All-Star game that's coming up. I talked with Coach Kador a couple months ago when I saw him, and he's a voter, and he was still trying to evaluate the talent. And so just talk about that.
Well, it's a great opportunity for these young men to get exposure, first of all, on the national level. And then they can kind of measure themselves up on that stage and see if this is going to be something that they're built for. Because, sometimes we play in front of 200, 300, maybe 1,000 people, and we think that's a big crowd. But then when you get out there and you got 25, 30, 40,000 people in the park, then you can really get a sense of how your composure is going to kick in. So I think it's going to be a fabulous event, and hopefully these guys can go out there and show what the HBCU can do.
Bottom of the lineup here.
Now we know that Junior is spearheading this through the commission office and Major League Baseball Players Association.
Ken Griffey?
Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah.
And the baseball youth program.
Yes.
Yeah, So it's talk about all of the people involved and all of that, what they're going to do.
Well, with Major League Baseball, they've been trying to help grow the game in the black and brown communities, and they've been putting on events like the Breakthrough Series, the Dream Series, having some of the top high school pitchers come out to these events where they can get exposure from different coaches from all over the country, putting some of the best high school players on the same field so they can measure themselves up with their peers. And it's really given them an avenue to be seen. Last year out of the program, I think 5 out of the first 6 or 7 picks in the Major League Draft was first-rounders that came through the program. So it's definitely been growing the game for these young men and giving them an opportunity to get, level the playing field, so to speak.
Now, there'll be coaches such as yourself coaching this game. Can you tell us who some of the other coaches will be?
Well, I know it's going to be me and Marquis Grissom. Marquis is a real spearhead in growing baseball down here in the Atlanta area, and he was one of the reasons why I moved down here. So I know we both went to HBCUs, and they want us involved so that those guys can see that, we came from where they're at, and maybe they can get to a point to where we got, and hopefully we can inspire them and give them some, information to help them jump over hurdles that we may have tripped over and help them become, better ball players and possibly major league players.
I know that, a lot of former big leaguers have sons, but I can tell you right away, I know you sent your son to HBCU. You sent him to me.
Absolutely.
And, I'll never forget we were at I was a guest speaker at an event here for baseball, and you seeked me out to talk to me about your son. And would you advise other players to do the same thing?
Absolutely, because when I came out of high school, I got drafted out of high school, and I was recruited by a lot of Power 5 and big universities, but I always wanted to play at a HBCU because most of the guys that came out of my high school went to HBCUs. They excelled on the field. They ended up getting drafted. They ended up getting exposure. And the main thing they got to play as freshmen. And that was the main thing that I was concerned with when I went to college, because I didn't want to sit on the bench for 2 years. So that made me have an opportunity to play right away. I was around people that looked like me, and I felt comfortable on campus, off the field, and then it just helped me transition into the college life a little bit better.
For those who might not know, talk about when and where the All-Star Game will take place.
The All-Star Game is going to be in Seattle at the Seattle Mariners Stadium, and it's a couple days before the Major League All-Star Game. So it's going to be in a venue that's going to be packed with people. Hopefully a lot of people will come out and support the HBCU All-Star Game, and that'll transition over into the Futures Game, which is the Minor League All-Star Game, and then that'll transition over into the Major League All-Star Game. So it's going to be a baseball-packed weekend in Seattle, and I'm looking forward to going out there and spreading some information to these guys and hopefully watch them perform on the field and do some things that they're capable of doing.
I know we've talked about in other sports trying to get players from HBCUs to the next level. It's always talk about NFL players playing SWAC football, getting to the next level. Basketball, they have the HBCU All-Star Game adjacent to the Final Four. What is it going to take? What are some of the things that has to happen? Is this just an ongoing process to is this a good first step and then trying to elevate players to get more recognition and get to that next step?
Yeah, I mean, it's always good to have some opportunities, but when we get those opportunities, we got to cash in on them. We can't just be expecting people to give us things just because, we think we deserve it. So a lot of times when guys get an opportunity and then they don't cash in on them, they point the finger. We got to start pointing the finger at ourselves and taking advantage of, if it's going to be one opportunity, then we got to make sure we take advantage of it. So if we're going to get this chance to get exposure, then we got to go out here and show what we got. So there's no way you can want something that somebody else has and you're not doing just as good or better than they are. So we got to perform, we got to execute, and then we got to capitalize on those opportunities.
Marvin, well said. I know you got to go to work. We appreciate you giving a few minutes out of your very busy schedule to us for this worthy cause. And we have a lot of people that's going to be supporting it. And I know I'm one of the people working with it.
Well, it's so nice to be, a part of this event. It's so nice to have the ability to give these guys some information that took me to a 10-year major league career. And now that I'm coaching, I get a chance to kind of give this back to the community and spread some of the knowledge to younger players. And hopefully, hopefully my whole pleasure in this is seeing guys make it up to where I was. And so I can say, hey, I remember helping that guy when he was coming up. So that's my motivation right now.
We appreciate you, big guy.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marvin.
All right.
Marvin Freeman, former major leaguer, Jacksonian. I forgot. No, I didn't forget. I was slow on the slow on that deal. And Marvin Freeman, we appreciate you joining us, talking about the HBCU All-Star Game in July in Seattle.
It's called a swing master.
Swing master. And speaking of swinging down the line, a foul down the right side. It's the swing.
Junior swing master.
Junior swing master.
Junior's got a swing master, and that's what they named the game after.
Junior swing master, of course.
Well, it's meant this. I don't know if it's junior, but we'll get more. Oh, that's going to find the hole.
And that's going to make it all the way to the wall here. Extra bases. And a stand-up double.
That's 2 good hits for Sanchez. He swung the bat really good.
Yeah, back-to-back doubles. He got 2 doubles for the Jaguars, and Southern has 3 hits. Nava Sanchez with 2 of the 3. Kyle Radcliffe stands in. Now, how will Chris Crenshaw play this? Obvious sack situation here, Roger Cador, with the DH Radcliffe, a runner at second.
Could possibly be, but, you know, the baseball on plate conventionally the way it used to be, you know, because the coach might be thinking, I'm better off letting him swing rather than play a percentage situation here. You got me?
Well, he hit 284 during the regular year, showing he's swinging away now. Nope, he's squaring up, lays it down.
And it's a good one.
Pitcher fields, throws, close, got him. Santos had to break down. We talked about that in the first game. That is not an easy play, throwing it all the way across the diamond.
Well, no, just getting to it, Charles. You got to sprint to it, and then you got to slow down, stop it. There it is. See, he got that under control, and he made sure he had his body parallel to where he was trying to throw it to. That's what made it so good.
Well, the Jaguars, they have stranded 3, and they've got a runner at third.
Now, that swing won't get it on the first pitch. We always try to say to our players, if you're going to swing at the first pitch, it's got to be a very good, healthy swing. That was a weak swing. That was a more defensive type of swing, and we don't want to do it on the first strike.
Evans at the plate. He struck out his last time up. Jaguars with an opportunity. And
there you go.
He's aggressive there.
No, yeah. No, that's the kind of swing a coach would like to see a player take.
Count is 0-2. The Jaguars with an early opportunity here.
Now he's doing. He choked up. He spread. I mean, this is how you do it to try and put the ball in play. You have to make adjustments.
Well, they're even in the bag at first and third, back at second and short. And Evans trying to find a spot here to give his team the lead.
I'm not going to say they're too far back at second and short. They're all playing. The third runner should take a bigger lead.
And a swing and a miss on an inside pitch, and Evans strikes out for the second time.
Boy, it shows you how difficult it is when runners get at third base with less than 2 out to get them in, huh?
That's the one who tried to golf out.
It wasn't a bad swing. The pitcher made a really great pitch.
A little bit on the inner half.
Yeah. I mean, that was a great swing. Tab has really been struggling. This is a chance for him to make his season worthwhile. Oh, he's been struggling.
He flied out his last time out to first. So the Jaguars had a runner at third, 1 out. And Nava Sanchez is there with 2 out.
This is now. He's got him where you want him. You got 2 balls, no strikes. You got a man on third base. You're looking for him to make a mistake over the plate. And you don't want to overswing. You want to drive it back up the middle.
It's the 2-0.
Okay.
3-0.
Well, you got to give him the take because, well, he struggled all year, so I don't know what you do here. I give him the take so he could see another pitch in the zone.
It was a 3-0 strike call.
Okay, so that one was on the corner.
And Joseph Smith said it was on the outer half, 3-1 the count. Jaguars runner at third, 2 out. Chance to grab the lead a third of the way through. It's a healthy swing there, coaches. Now it's a full count. 3-0, now 3-2. with a runner at third. Nolan Santos, 7 wins, 14 starts during the year. Here's the pitch. Another foul. Well, a good battle here, Roger Cador, Hunter Tabb, and Nolan Santos.
That's what you want to see. Now, I would be concerned here if he's going to spin it off the plate here. With him saying, I don't have a problem if I walk you. I'll spin it off the plate. Let's see what he does.
The 3-2.
He missed with a slider. Boy, those are the pitches you can't let the pitcher get away with.
As a coach, when you see a batter like Tabb battling, I know you want to see results. Here's the 3-2. There's a little flare too short. Side is retired as the shortstop Garcia hauls it in. The Jaguars strand their 4th runner. So we'll take a break here. We'll check in with Charles Bishop as we're almost a third of the way through. Get his thoughts on what we've seen so far. Jaguars, Wildcats scoreless. We'll take a break here from Atlanta on the SWAC Digital Network.
Let there be no doubt. You are ready for whatever comes next. You've got bars to raise, expectations to exceed, status quos to rise above. And you've come to the right place. Because it all starts right here. Which is precisely why we are so proud to support HBCU programs.
Come back to Atlanta. Rolling right along here in the bottom of the 4th inning. John leading it off. Charles Edmond, Roger Cador, Charles Bishop monitoring the dugouts, and Charles Bishop, so far, Southern has left 4. They've had better the opportunities.
Yeah, Southern has had some opportunities. I talked with both coaches, Coach Crenshaw and Coach Hernandez, and they both have been telling their teams, relax, don't press, let the pitch come to you. You've seen them now a couple of times. You should be starting to pick up their tendency, so we'll watch for that going forward. But I tell you what, it has been a good Friday night type of action with 2 pitchers really giving it all.
And some early, non-existent scoring early in both of the games, and so far that is the case. Of course, Charles Bishop will have interviews with both coaches as we roll along here in the 5th inning. And Alan Hall will bat for the Wildcats. What do you think about what you're seeing here, Roger Cador? Another low-scoring tilt early.
I think Charles, good play.
Oh,
watch the throw.
The scoop, he couldn't scoop it.
Had he much time? He had more time than he thought. He been watching Arenado at St. with the Cardinals.
We'll see how they score that. That was a heck of a play at third.
He had way more time than he thought. Let's see.
They call it an error on Tabb.
See, look at that. He's got time. He's got time. Plant. Look where the run is. Got time. You see what I'm saying? If he plant with his strong arm. But Arenado does it every day.
So runner at second. Probably a single and an error.
Yeah.
I would have.
Yeah, it's a single and error.
So runner at second. That was a good
play. Well, it was
play.
an error all the way, to be honest with you. He had time.
Bethune-Cookman with a runner at second.
I think Charles nailed it right. Even though it's Wednesday morning, early afternoon, we're looking at 2 Friday night pitchers. And that's what you get on Friday night. The very best teams have to offer. And they haven't disappointed us.
Well, for Bethune-Cookman, this is their best opportunity so far. 0-2.
Go hit him.
It was hit him. So first and second.
You see, I'm confused by that call. I'm confused for the reason that that's not their best hitter, and you got a guy with a good fastball, and you're asking him to get that guy out with your secondary pitch inside. You got me? This is how guys get in trouble.
Moya stands in. For 2 on. Moya ground ball up the middle. Shortstop can't get there. It's a base hit. Hall scores. Wildcats with a 1-0 lead. Robert Moya jumps on the first pitch. Single up the middle, dribbled through. Hall scores, and Bethune-Cookman with a 1-0 lead. The attempt at short by Wiley just couldn't get there.
No, it was hit in the right place.
So Bethune-Cookman with a 1-0 lead. Runners on at first and second. 1 out for Manny Sufrain, who struck out his last time up. Foul tip. Catcher couldn't hold it. Do you think that error, Coach Kador, had an impact on BP? Do you think that had an impact on a pitcher in that situation?
Errors usually do. Remember, when the errors occurs, pitcher have a tendency to try and overcompensate to eliminate that. So, it takes them out of that comfort zone a little.
There's a little dribbler foul.
And I couldn't understand why the kid who's now on second, why we threw a curveball to him. I don't understand. See, an error just happened, so let's now try to get another out with the runner still at second. You got me?
Jaguars looking for a double play. Wildcats trying to add to their lead. Fastball high and outside. So with 1 out, a ground ball to third. There's a single and an error runner at second, and then a single by Moya scored him. Wildcats with the lead. Now the count is 2-2. Two pitch. Call, third strike. It's a big second out. And that is the 5th strikeout, Roger Kador, by Wilson. So he's given up a run on 2 hits. He has struck out 5. Now another big out here to get in Escobar, who fly to center his last time up. Jaguars, the hottest team in this tournament, 3 straight wins coming in. And it's jammed, and he fouled it off. Got 2 young coaches. Chris Crenshaw was assistant at Jackson State. Took over a program that won the championship a couple of years ago, beating a team in Jackson State that went 24-0 in the conference. And I asked Chris Crenshaw about that yesterday. I said, do you think about that? Do you think about that moment, what you did, what you accomplished? He says, yeah, there's no doubt, because that was a special game, because earlier he was at Jackson State, then goes to Southern, so it was a wide range of emotions that he had to deal with for that particular game.
Mm-hmm.
Count is 2-1. Fastball up and in, 3-1.
You need to have a short memory. Forget about it, move on, because you can't bring back the emotion and the joy or the disappointment. You got me?
Here's the 3-1, a shot in the left center field. This ball's going to drop for a base hit. Runner around third, ball's cut off, and the Wildcats add to their lead. Seeing eye single off the bat of Escobar.
Remember, the last 2 hits hadn't been hit hard, right?
Right.
Hit them in the right place. Hit them where they in. We wheeler keeler. We wheeler keeler.
Look at this, coach. Got a pitch. That was a tough pitch, and he was able to power it in the left center. They had him play deep.
Yeah.
And the Wildcats have a 2-0 lead here in this 4th inning. So, well, Colton Olassen at the plate. 6th man to bat in the inning. Wildcats with a 2-0 lead. This pitch strike called. Catcher going out to settle down his pitcher, trying to get this 3rd out in the inning. Of course, we'll hear from Chris Crenshaw about what he's seen so far. Like you said, Coach Cador, just not a lot of hard hit balls, just found the holes.
Yeah, that's really, that's it.
0-2 the count. The 0-2 pitch just missed off the outer half. 1-2. Of course, Coach Crenshaw's team, they won that championship, played in the Mississippi State Regional. Here's the pitch, inning over. 6 strikeouts for Wilson, but the Wildcats 2 runs on 3 hits and 2 stranded. They've stranded 3. So we played 4, 2-0 our score. The Jaguars trail. We'll take a break here, and we will have Coach Jonathan Hernandez coming up next, the head coach of Bethune-Cookman. An interesting story. This team went 2 years without playing baseball. A lot took place on campus and in that program. We'll talk about it when we come back after this timeout. 2-0 Wildcats here on the SWAC Digital Network. We're underway here in the top of the 5th inning. 2-0 Wildcats with the lead halfway through. Let's go down to the dugout. Charles Bishop so far with a happy Bethune-Cookman coach Jonathan Hernandez.
Yeah, down here with Coach Hernandez. Coach, you mentioned it just a couple of innings ago that your hitters just need to relax, and you guys were able to scratch out a couple of runs last inning.
Yeah, I mean, I think, first time through the lineup, Wilson did a good job mixing speeds, going in and out, and we finally broke through this last inning. So we need a shutdown inning here from Santos and get the bats going again next inning.
Phenomenal story in terms of how you've rebuilt this roster coming back from COVID. Coach, just share a little bit of that story.
Yeah, I mean, 2020, the pandemic affected everybody, and then 2021, our school decided to opt out of athletics. So we found ourselves in a situation with no program essentially for 2 years running, but we were able to get back, picked up the pieces, and, for us, it was getting the guys back to Bethune-Cookman to, do what they needed to do, and, we're here hopefully capitalizing on this opportunity.
Good luck the rest of the way, coach.
All right, Charles Bishop. Yeah, just want to add to that story. I mean, when they didn't play baseball for that 2-year period, what did the players do? Well, they sent them. There's a bunt back to the pitcher Santos, and the sack is close. Save! He beat it out. Hustle by Wiley. Bunt single. You don't see that too often, Roger Cador. What didn't happen here?
The pitcher. He's out.
And they're going to challenge. We have our first challenge. This may be over. They're going to take a look at this. So our first challenge of this tournament, as you're looking at it, by the way, the umpires are looking at it just as you are looking at it. The rewind, the back and forth, the freeze frame, the whole works. You're seeing it just as the umps are seeing it.
He's out.
And remember now, the call on the field is that he's safe. There has to be something there to overturn the call.
That's true, Charles.
The evidence has to be undisputed. And right now in this back and forth, is there something there that you see?
I don't see anything. You got better eyes than me.
On my 6 eyes, I have 6, not 4. So my 6 are no good here. Let's take a look at it here. So they're going to slow this down. Well, those are the angles that they have to look at. So unless there's something else, this may stand from what we've been told. I mean, you got to go frame by frame as you're looking at it.
The pitcher messed up, and the first baseman did a poor job of stretching to get the ball. His right foot should have been on the bag, and he would have stretched it another 3 feet, and he would have been out by a lot.
Did that heel get there? They're right there. Well, is that, do you see baseball? Do you see enough there? All right, right there, he hadn't got to the base, but then you got to see the baseball. Did the baseball get to the glove there? Tie to the runner.
If you want to. You can make it.
This is the first call of the tournament, Charles Bishop, and an interesting call to say the least.
Yeah, very interesting call. We'll see if this is a momentum deal here for the Southern Jaguar baseball team, as it looks like they have a couple of runners on. A little mini rally going here, Charles.
Yeah, we'll see if that, I mean, there has to be something there to overturn it. And based on what we're seeing, and we've been told these are the angles that they have to look at, if there isn't anything that's overwhelming, this call on the field just might stand. But they're still, again, as you're looking at it, the umps are looking at it in real time just as you are.
Look where the first baseman is. If he put his right foot on that bag, look how much further out he's going to be.
Yeah, the extension, a little more extension would definitely.
He's out.
So they're still looking at it. Our first review.
I'm going to think they're going to call him out, Charles.
All right, let's see. Oh, and he is out. So they call him out. They overturn the call.
That's a good call.
Well, that's so close. So Rolon is at second. I thought maybe based on the angles we were looking at, the call might stand. But they overturned the call. So a runner at second, 1 out. A chance for the Jaguars here to get a run. The pitch strike called. So you get 2 challenges. And on home run disputes, that can be looked at any time. So you keep your challenges. It's been overturned. Here's a fly ball down the left side. This ball's well hit. It's trouble. It's going to be a ground rule double. Nope, it stays in. I thought it might have went over the wall, caught the wall, and the Jaguars are on the board. So Armstrong, an RBI double. So the Jaguars are on the board. Let's see here. A good piece of hitting, Roger Cador, down the left side.
Yeah, didn't try to do too much. And the ball took a big bounce and hit off the foul pole. Yep,
so a double, round rule double.
Now you got your top of your order coming in there, the so-called big bats.
Yeah, Lee Hendricks hit no double play and struck out.
If he does what he could hit the ball to the right side, but he tried to pull that.
So after the Wildcats got a couple, here come the Jaguars getting a run off Santos. We'll hear from Chris Crenshaw coming up here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Here's the pitch, low. Want to follow up on that interview with Jonathan Hernandez. Charles Bishop talked with him moments ago. You know, during that 2-year period in which Bethune-Cookman did not play, they actually, the program, sent players to various junior colleges around the area. And when they resumed, a lot of those players that they sent to JUCOs came back to the program. There's a big swing and a miss.
See, now that's not a good swing for him. If you see, he's pulling off of the ball by taking that swing. When his strength is going to be staying middle up, which will allow him to hit the ball to right field. So let's see if there is an adjustment, because he's going to throw it away. Catcher is sitting out there.
Here's the 1-2.
Yeah, okay.
A runner to third, a slow dribbler to second, and the throw is there. Solid throw from Lawson. Oh. We move the runner along by pulling it to the right side. O'Neal Burgos at the plate. Burgos, a wild pitch and a strikeout. He has a chance to tie the game here in the top of the 5th inning. Here come the Jaguars after Bethune-Cookman got 2 in the 4th. Jaguars with a run, top 5, 2-1. Burgos slices this one down the right side. Foul territory, is there a play?
Trying to do too much.
Side is retired as Burgos sliced it down the right side. Caught it first, and the side is retired as Sofrain hauls it in, but the Jaguars get on the board. An RBI double by Armstrong, 2-1. We'll take a break right here. We'll hear from Chris Crenshaw, the head coach of the Jaguars. His team back in at 2-1. Bethune-Cookman will be back after this timeout on the SWAC Digital Network.
Let there be no doubt. You are ready for whatever comes next. You've got bars to raise, expectations to exceed, status quos to rise above. And you've come to the right place, because it all starts right here. Which is precisely why we are so proud to support HBCU programs.
Jeremy Garcia jumps on the first offering, and it's going to be caught in left. 1-1 pitch, 1 out as Rollon hauls it in. We're going to hear from Southern head coach Chris Crenshaw after Bethune-Cookman bats. Luis Tierro at the plate. Going to follow up on that Jonathan Hernandez interview, and I talked with him yesterday as well. Some of those players they sent to JUCO came back, and then the other thing is that during that 2-year period that they did not play, some people in athletics were furloughed. In other words, they didn't have work. And so what did Coach Hernandez do? He was an Amazon truck driver. Here's a fly ball, shallow left center, and it's going to be caught in left. Taking charge of that situation in left field's roll on 2 away. So quickly 2 away for the Wildcats. I asked him, I said, how's it like working for Amazon? He said it was a lot of work, but he also said he has a lot of respect for those Amazon drivers. When you get the packages, he says now when he knows a package is coming, even on campus, he leaves them cookies and snacks and drinks because it is a lot of hard work. There's a fly ball in the deep center field. It's going to be an easy inning, and I'm sure for Coach Crenshaw, he's going to love that as he talks to Charles Bishop coming up, a smile on his face. So a quick inning for Southern's pitcher Nicholas Wilson. We'll take a break here. We'll hear from Chris Crenshaw coming up on the other side. 2-1, Jaguars coming up with Nava Sanchez, Ratcliffe, and is coming up after this. Timeout here on the SWAC Digital Network.
Keep your eyes on the horizon 100% of the time. You are a success story in the making. You are ready to take on the world.
You are ready for this.
You will get there from here. And you can't wait to get started. And as proud supporters of HBCUs around the country, we can't wait to see how far you go.
Welcome back to McNeese Ballpark here in Atlanta. Good one, 2-1. Our score, Jaguars coming to bat. Speaking of the Jaguars, Charles Bishop is with Jaguar head coach Chris Crenshaw.
Coach Crenshaw, I tell you what, it's been a good pitcher's duel here today. 2-1 here in the top of the 6th. Says how your pitcher, Nick Wilson's doing.
He's doing good. He's keeping them off balance, mixing 3 pitches right now. We haven't started with the 4th pitch yet. So he's doing a good job so far.
You know, yesterday we talked a little bit about mental toughness in the late innings. Talk about what your team has to do going forward here.
Got to get some timely hits. We getting runners in scoring position. We just ain't had that hit with a runner in scoring position yet, besides the one Armstrong had. Other than that, we got to keep chopping away and keep finding a way to get runners on.
First time this team has seen Nick Santos. What's your assessment of the Bethune-Cookman pitcher?
He's pretty good. He's sharp, curveball's pretty good, and he's keeping us off balance.
Sure thing. Thank you, Coach.
There's a fly ball to center field, and it's caught there off the bat of Nava Sanchez, 1 away as we are underway. 6th inning, and you look at it, a chance for the Jaguars. They've had chances. They've left 4 in this game. As the first pitch misses outside. Kyle Ratcliffe at the plate. You know, Roger Cador, Chris Crenshaw talked about, he just talked to Charles Bishop about the opportunities, and he talked about it in that championship game last year, in which that 14-inning marathon, and he said there were chances there too in that game that hurt the Jaguars' chances to win the title last year. And opportunities here, an inside-out swing in the hole and short. A good play, close and out. Well, we've seen some great plays in shortstop today, and there's another one, another gem, Jeremy Garcia. Did you take a look at it here, Roger Cador? What's the key to this? You're ranging to your right, the scoop, your momentum carrying you towards right, got to make a strong throw. Good all the way around.
Yeah, good all the way around. He's done it before. He's probably from Puerto Rico, and they've probably done it 100 times.
It's a fly ball foul off to the left side. Bat of Jonathan Evans. He has struck out twice. Well, we're breezing right along here in this second game. Started at 12:25. 2-1. The Wildcats with the lead. This pitch is high and outside. We had a low-scoring game for the most part going in the back half of the first game with Texas Southern and FAMU. Here's the pitch low. It was a 1-0 game going into the 7th inning, and then FAMU with 2 in the 7th, 4 in the 8th, 2 in the 9th to pull away. So same theme here in game 2. Foul straight back. Centoria Black will have the next 2 coming up.
You won't be here?
Well, I'll be around. I'll be around to check it out. I'll be around to watch it. 2-2 the count. Got to keep up with what's happening, especially with that 3 o'clock game, because we'll be right back here tomorrow. Texas Southern will be in that game as they lost 9-1. 9 runs, 11 hits for FAMU. 1 run, 8 hit, 2 errors for Texas Southern. And TSU went through 4 pitchers in game 1, so Mike Robb has some decisions to make. There's a fastball high and outside. And Evans on base for the first time, a 2-out walk. So it'll bring up the third baseman, Hunter Tabb, who lined to short, fly to first. Hunter Tabb at the plate for the Jaguars. Santos brings it home. Inside ball 1, time called as Wildcat catcher Irvin Escobar stands in and has a word with his pitcher.
What would Southern needs here is Tapp to get a big 2-out hit, the one that he'll remember. You know.
Well, it's just a 2-1 game. You talk about nerves and pressing.
Or they've been pressing before then.
He was trying to hit that one to the highway. He was trying to hit that one to I-75.
Maybe tomorrow.
The wind looks like it's blowing in at the moment.
Yeah, the wind has been playing a little trick with us all day.
In the first game, Levo, their big home run hitter, came up short on a couple of long balls.
Yeah, they did. You know, I had a talk with he and his family after the game. I talked with Levo. I had met his dad when Southern played him. And the mother, she said, I heard what you said about my son, that he don't have the most sexy body. She said, he's never had a sexy body.
Well, we might not come back to that, but we might on the other side of this.
But she was all good with it.
Yeah.
She was good with it. She laughed. She said he never had a sexy body.
Tabb flies to right, and the side is retired. We'll take a timeout here. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Good one, 2-1, our score. Speaking of body, good body of work for both of these teams early on. We'll take a break. We'll be right back here on the SWAC. And we welcome you back to Atlanta. Glad you can join us here. Good ball game. Highland Hall, Boris Pena, and Robert Moya, 3, 4, and 5 coming up. Facing Wilson, swing and a miss. We are underway. We're joined here at the other microphone by former Major Leaguer Marquis Grissom joining us here. We've got all-stars here up in the booth. Looking at his bio, Montreal Expos, man, those are some great days when Major League Baseball was in Montreal. Swing and a miss. You know, I'm from St. Louis. I'm a Cardinal fan, so the Cardinals and Expos had a pretty good rivalry going back in the day. We appreciate you joining us.
No, thanks for having me.
We'll talk about what you've seen here in Atlanta so far with the talent that we've seen here through the first couple of games.
Real good baseball. Seen the both teams play some real good defense. I think the shortstops have been fantastic all game today, and some good quality pitching.
Usually in a tournament situation, in the postseason, is it about runs or is it about? I mean, you've played in postseason games. Is it about pitching or is it about hitting? Can you slug your way to a World Series title? I guess.
Well, I don't think so. I think number one, anytime you're trying to win a ball game, it's going to start with your pitching.
Yeah.
And then you got to play some real good defense, as we done seen today. And then if you can squeak 1 or 2 runs across the board against another good pitcher, you have a good chance of winning.
Well, you said the key word squeak, because it's not, when you're facing good pitching, it's never easy, is it?
No, you really have to try to, as a team, try to wear that pitcher down, and hopefully he'll make a mistake here and there to get a chance to barrel a couple balls up to get a run across the plate.
There's a fly ball here to center for the second out. Boy, some quick work by both of these pitchers. When you have a game in which pitchers are in a groove, it's really some quick innings.
It is, and when you're throwing strikes, you know, the guys got to be more aggressive. And but when you walk a lot of guys, game tend to take a little bit longer. But this has been a fantastic game today to see these two squads go out and play some real good baseball.
2-1 ball game. We're joined by former leaguer Marquis Grissom. Played his pro ball with the Braves, Cleveland, Milwaukee, the Dodgers, the Giants, Montreal. So talk about some of the things that you're involved with, especially with the game coming up in Seattle.
Well, actually, I'll be one of the coaches on the All-Star team, and I'm happy and elated about that, to get a chance to meet some of these guys, see some of the guys, and just watch them play, and kind of figure out what they don't know right now.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can inspire them to keep going and give them a few tips and nibbits here and there to enhance the game and take it to the next level.
Yeah, we talked about that previously, and we're talking with former Major Leaguer Marquis Grissom, one of the coaches for the All-Star game coming up in Seattle. You know, I have a nephew that's playing right now for the Arizona organization, playing in Ogden, the Raptors, I believe. And so it's just the opportunities and just what it's going to take, and just the hard work and the battle, the grind, the luck, the talent. You've seen it, done it, bought the T-shirt. You've forgotten more baseball than most of us. No. What do you think it's going to take? Are we on the right path? Are we on a path? Are we on the right path to getting more players from HBCUs to the next level?
I definitely think we're on the right path because of what we're seeing today. This tournament right here going to set the stage for the All-Star Classic, with the Swingman Classic. And when you see this quality type of baseball from the HBCU, that's what we're about. Good quality baseball, good coaching, and getting that opportunity to get that exposure. It's the missing piece, and that's been the case over the last 40, 50 years, where HBCU players did not get that exposure they so desperately need. And being able to go to a Seattle place out of all places, Seattle, Washington, where probably there's not an HBCU, and I don't know if it is or not, but to go there to let everybody in the world know that there's a place for you to go play baseball, and there's a lot of HBCUs that's producing a lot of players.
Yeah, a lot of good talent. I see a lot of it on the SWAC level, and definitely it's just trying to get scouts and just people to come out and watch during the regular season. How much of a challenge is that?
Well, I think it's tough because we got to, as a HBCU family, we got to invest more into baseball. You know, we talk about facilities, we talk about players, we talk about scholarships. All of those things are so desperately needed for our HBCUs to continue to strive in the right direction.
It's a ground ball to first.
Marquis, I know that you're involved with a lot of arms with MLB. You do the breakout series, you do the Hank Aaron invitation, and you do a lot of other stuff with MLB, especially in Atlanta, where you have organized a bunch of leagues and teams. Can you talk about some of the things you're doing and how it benefit young kids?
Well, Coach, I kind of started my own organization 17 years ago to give those kids that opportunity, not just baseball, to get their education, teach them a little bit about financial literacy and career development. And it all predicated on baseball to get those guys the opportunity to graduate from high school, go to college. And if you excel in anything after college, fine. But, you know, we got to go to college and graduate and try to get that opportunity to get on the baseball field to advance to that next level, because with no grades we can't play. And that's kind of how I got started in the baseball after I finished playing.
I tell you what, I don't know how I let you out of Atlanta. I was getting every player out of there until I saw we played FAMU, and there you are in center field and pitching, and I wanted to know who you were, and I almost cried to know that I missed you.
Well, you got two of my buddies, I think, that Tim Stargell and
Jeff Swain
and Jeff Swain and Banks. Yeah, you got those guys here out of Atlanta, man. And I heard a lot about you, and I really wanted to come to Southern. But Coach Lucas was right in my backyard.
Yeah.
He came to the high school a lot and watched me play, and it was automatic once he told me that I was going to get an opportunity to play, and not only that, start as an outfielder. So he kind of beat you to the punch, Coach.
He beat me to the punch. I almost cried. I couldn't believe it. You know, but no, I had a really good run here in Atlanta, won a lot of championships because of the kids I got out of Atlanta. So, and baseball always been good, and we've seen it now with young African Americans who are making it to the big league out of Atlanta.
What did you see, Coach Kador, in Marquis Grissom when you first laid your eyes on him?
First, great competitiveness. Great competitiveness. That's the first thing stuck out. Then his ability to run, and had a really good arm. And then, you know, when you see competitiveness in a kid like that, you know you got something special. And he truly was. He ended up getting drafted in the 3rd round by Montreal in his junior year, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Unbelievable. So what would be the biggest piece of advice you could give? I know a lot of folks checking this out, of players just wanting that opportunity, begging for that opportunity, just grinding and grinding. What would you say, the way baseball is set up right now? Of course, you've got the All-Star game in Seattle coming up, but what would you say to the up-and-comers, high school as well as collegians?
Well, I would say one thing you have to do, we go through all these different stages from high school to college to pro, and you have to understand how to be the best version of yourself. As you grow and as you develop, you're getting a scholarship to go to college to play baseball because you continue to develop at the next level. And once you really understand yourself and trust yourself and with your instincts and your talent, now you can blossom and become a better player. And having great coaches like Coach Kanar and Coach Robert Lucas, I think that is, bar none, the missing piece now, I think, in baseball. Because those guys, they loved on you. They nurtured you. They coached you. It was almost like a father figure. And we don't see that a lot these days in HBCU baseball. It's to go up, show up, and play. But it's a lot of great coaches out there. But I just want to give Coach Kanar and Coach Robert Lucas, man, the two guys that I really look up to as coaches making that impact back when I was coming up.
Manny Sufrain at the plate. It is a different game collegiately as it was when you were playing. I mean, you talk about the love and you talk about all that. It is definitely, it's always been a business. It's always been that. But then there are the other factors too, that with social media and everything that we're seeing now, it's a lot different stuff today than it was back when you were coming up through the ranks.
Oh, no doubt. That social media is something. And what I've found over the last couple of years is that a lot of players, especially in high school, the younger players, 14, 15, 16, they really playing for the social media.
Yeah.
They're not playing for the team. They're not playing to get better for themselves.
Yeah.
They waiting to get to second base to do the chant or do the pump or hit the home run. And they caught up in it and not the development part. And so as a coach and as a scout, I think that's a part that we got to clean up and keep getting the fundamentals of the game down, because that's what's going to sustain you over the course of your career, and try to dominate the game without showing any, how would I say that, any body language.
And about the parents. Parents has got to let coaches coach their kids and not try to make so many decisions as if they know more than the coaches. Can you elaborate on that? I'm sure you have to deal with that, and with the league, with the kids you have to deal with.
Absolutely, Coach. That is a monster.
It is a monster.
It's a monster. You try to educate.
That's a pretty strong word.
It's a monster.
That's pretty strong.
We can talk about how many parents we done seen really not destroy their own kid, but disappoint their own kid, let their own kid down because they're just not educated on the game. It's about numbers now, sabermetric and analytics, and a lot of the parents, even the players, don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
You know, they do, but they don't take it into consideration that that's what's going to get you to the next level. So we got to kind of try to continue to educate the parents, educate the player, and so they're fundamentally sound to give themselves a chance to advance to the next level.
I'm thinking I'm going to do something where I'm going to have a class or something where for parents only, because you said something, they embarrass their kids, they come there and they destroy organization because coaches are afraid of them, and then the kids don't benefit. You got me? You know, so I just think down the road I'm going to do something that will educate parents on how they should let coaches do with their kids. Coaches are not going to hurt their kids. They're trying to help them.
Absolutely.
Colton Lawson at the plate. He is 0 for 2, struck out and fly to center. His pitch is low. So how excited are you to going out to Seattle and just meeting and greeting a lot of these this young talent?
Oh, I'm very excited. It's all about the younger generation for me, and because somebody invested a lot of time in me at a young age, and then high school and college, and to be able to go out here and see these guys perform, and they're getting a great opportunity to get on that big stage and play in this beautiful stadium and get that feeling what it feels like to be a big leaguer. And then hopefully that'll just rub off on them. They'll take it home, and all of them may not make it to the big league, but they will never forget that moment that they're going to spend in Seattle, Washington, playing in that unbelievable stadium and being a big leaguer for that week.
Here's the 2-2, the long shot deep left field. This ball's well hit. And it's going to be caught. This could be a double play here. They got runners hung up, and it's going to be a double play. Heck of a catch, running catch in left field by Rolam. Runners were too committed, couldn't get back. A double play, and the side is retired. That's something that you can take to Seattle with you. A good play right there and left.
They're playing some great defense. I tell you, the shortstop from both sides, they made some great plays all day today. Outfielder, center fielder, left fielder. There's been some great baseball. And I'm just happy and proud of both teams, and I'm just glad the HBCU, we're going in the right direction.
So moving here to Atlanta, I'm not from here, obviously. I visit here maybe once or twice a year. How big is baseball? We know the Braves, but how big is baseball, youth baseball here in this city?
It is huge. It is huge. And not only that, Coach Kano, I can witness this. There's some great baseball players in the South. And we can start right here in Atlanta, Florida, Alabama, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Louisiana.
Mississippi,
we got baseball player athletes, not just in baseball, but all sports. And it's a hotbed. You know, I get a chance to watch all this talent all year long. And I'm talking about just here in Atlanta. And we're going to try to continue to develop what we got here and expand outside the country.
Well, Marquis Grissom, we appreciate you coming on, man. I got one question for you.
Yes, sir.
I'm a Cardinal fan. You got some advice for my Cardinals to try to get them back on the right track?
Yeah, bring Jordan Walker back up.
Yeah.
And lost
I
straight.
knew
He's an Atlanta boy.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah.
I knew that was coming. I agree. I knew that was coming. We appreciate you coming on.
All right.
Marquis Grissom, boy, it's a privilege. Marquis Grissom, great career from 1989 to 2005. The Montreal Expos.
Lift. All right.
Montreal Expos. That mascot they had up there was something special. But we appreciate him talking about the Swingman Classic coming up in Seattle. Looking forward to checking that out. And looking forward to the last 3 innings here. We're going to check in with Charles Bishop. Low-scoring game. It was that way in Game 1 up until the 7th inning. And here we are in the 7th inning here at Game 2. And Southern University hanging tough. Here's a ground ball, 1 pitch, and 1 out. Well, it's jumping at the first pitch. 1 away is Hendricks. 1 pitch, 1 out. Well, Roger Cador, let's reset. The line scored 2 runs, 3 hits for Bethune-Cookman. The Jaguars have out-hit the Wildcats 6-3. Your thoughts on what you're seeing so far as we go down the stretch?
That hits are not where they're important. It's not the most important thing. Runs are. So you take Cookman with 2 runs, only 3 hits. So they must have done something when they had runners in the right position. So that's really what Southern needs to concentrate on and get something done when they've got runners in scoring position. And stop over-swinging. They're over-swinging a great deal.
Well, the Jaguars have stranded 4. Here's a fly ball foul. And they've had the opportunities, especially early in the game. They've had the opportunities, but it's still a lot of baseball in front of them here.
Oh, yeah, a lot. You got,
There's a ground ball. Could be scooped at third. And the Jaguars have the tying run on. Or Neil Burgos. So you take a look at that, Roger Cador.
It's
the
an
third
error.
baseman, Torero, tried to scoop it.
He should have came up. He didn't come get it. He should have came up and get the big hop.
That's an E5. Tying run on. Gustavo Nava-Sanchez, 2 for 3, 2 doubles, and he's fly to center. He represents the go-ahead run.
Now, he could be the man if he don't overswing. Remember that I got 2 good hits because I took good, nice swings.
Here's the pitch, strike called.
That's what I don't understand. You got to run on. You're behind. You're late in the game. The first good fastball you see, I want him swinging. Now, he took it to do what? You see, you might not see another pitch as good as that one.
Top of the 8th inning. The Jaguars with an opportunity here with 1 out. Pitch is outside.
Now you're still in a great hitting opportunity. The pitcher, in all probability, wants to throw a strike. He doesn't want to go 3-1. Now, do you sit on just trying to make solid contact or overswing?
Here's the pitch. Who fouled it off his foot? Ooh, and he tossed the bat aside.
Probably off his side.
Ooh, man,
the
he
meat
went down.
part. He'll be okay.
I mean, he's down.
I noticed there's nobody coming to his rescue. Where's the trainer? Finally.
It's Chris Crenshaw coming out
with some balls. He'll be okay.
Let's just watch this. The force of this swing. I mean, anytime you see a player go down like this, right?
The inside of his ankle.
Yeah.
He's going to be okay. And there is not a lot a trainer can do, to be honest with you. You got me?
He tossed the bat aside quickly. Looks like he's okay. That's good to see.
Oh, he's going to be. I knew he would be okay. It hit the calf. That's worse than anything. Boy, you don't want to have a bad calf.
And he went down very
now,
quickly.
That hurt. That really hurt.
Looks like he's okay. Good to see him back up.
Yeah. And what I was saying, there is not a lot a trainer can do when you hit like that, you know?
Nolan Santos still in, clinging to a 2-1 lead here in the 8th inning. Fly ball down the left side. Does this stay in? And could not be caught at third. Trying to gauge.
Now I'm looking at the man run on first base. Why was he off of first base? That's a foul ball. The thing is, you go and tag. If he catches and falls down, you go to second. You see right here? If he catches the ball and falls down, the runner could go to second. And those are, okay, maybe I'm coaching too much.
No, I mean, it
don't make sense not to be on the bag. You can't advance as a foul ball, only if he catches and falls down.
Here's the pitch. Foul down the right side.
Again, this is the kind of thing you tell kids about, you teach them, you work them. Preparation for the eventuality. If something happens, you can always take advantage of an out. You got me?
Well, those are the things I'm sure will be taught at the All-Star game in Seattle, right? Just some of the...
I won't be coaching, so I hope they would be saying it.
Some of the nuances.
Now,
and
look at here.
Here's a foul ball. Like a frozen rope foul by about 6 feet down the right side.
I'm going to say 3 feet.
Let's take a look at it.
Let's see if it's 6, Charles. Let's see if it's 6, Charles. 3 feet. 2 feet. Look, 2, Charles. Look.
I say 4. Let's
3.
Let's split the difference. 4.
Okay. You're a good man.
There's no doubt. That's a base hit. Burgos around second to third. They're going to wave him home. Here is the throw. Cut off. We have a tie game. O'Neal Burgos out of gas, but the Jaguars are gassed up as they've tied this game in 2. That one didn't miss. That was fair by 6 feet.
You want to split the difference?
All the way. Oh, that's why I scored. It was bobbled. So I would say single and an error.
No, it's a double.
Is it a double?
They're going to give him a double.
Well, the long hit.
He should have been on third,
yeah,
but he wasn't running because his calf was a little sore. He didn't want to hurt it again.
Well, they do charge an error there.
Oh, okay.
So it's 2 errors for the Wildcats, and the Jaguars have tied it up at 2. Now Ratcliffe at the plate. Ratcliffe 0 for 3, grounded to short third, and he has struck out. Boy, Nava Sanchez getting it done for the Jaguars. Two-2 game. Pitch is high. So 2 doubles and a single, and Air put him to second. Well, he's the star of the game for the Jaguars right now, and now Ratcliffe trying to give his team their first lead here in the top of the 8th inning. The fly ball left center field. That ball's well hit, and that ball's going to go all the way to the wall. Jaguars with the lead. Ratcliffe around second and held up there. A double, and Southern has grabbed the lead. Back-to-back extra base hits.
And because they didn't try to overswing. Now, had he tried to pull it, he would have hit a weak ground ball. He took a nice swing, got it in the gap into left center field.
Jaguars have the lead. Jonathan Hernandez in his 5th season is going to make a pitching change. Santos,
he might have stayed a little long. Might have stayed too long with his horse.
We'll take a break here. We'll give you the next Wildcat pitcher. The Jaguars have rallied from 2-0 down. They have the lead. They've out-hit the Wildcats 7-3. They lead 3-2. We'll give you the second Wildcat pitcher after this timeout on the SWAC Digital Network. You're looking at Juan Gonzalez, 4-2 during the regular season, 3.61 earned run average. And so Santos cannot win this game. And then now you look at Gonzalez trying to keep the Jaguars right where they are. One out, runner at second. The Jaguars, a couple of runs. They have a 3-2 lead here in the top of the 8th inning. Pitch to Evans, a ground ball to first, runner to third, 2 out. Move the runner along.
And that's the difference you probably will see with the bullpen pitchers for Cookman, is that they're quality. He's got another couple of quality arms down there. So a loss for them may not be as devastating, even though you want to win when you pitch your number one. You want to win, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, the Wildcats are down now, and Hunter Tabb 0 for 3, fly to short first and fly to right. Tabb a shot. It's going to give the Jaguars a 2-run lead. Another extra base hit. Tabb around first, chugs into second. He's there. Jaguars with a 4-2 lead. 3 extra base hits for the Jaguars in this inning, Roger Cador.
I tell you what, in the tradition of Southern University, this is why they've won 30 championship in the history of baseball, is that because they produce in big game situation, you know. That's what you have to do. You have to be able to play when the game's on the line.
Well, they've had chances sprinkled throughout this game, and Chris Crenshaw told Charles Bishop, we'll talk with Charles Bishop in a moment, but hey, the opportunities were there, Charles Bishop. Midway through the game, couldn't capitalize, but when it matters the most, right now, Jaguars, Charles Bishop coming through.
And you always marvel at the way this Jaguar baseball team, late inning magic, and once again, we see this championship blue blood, this DNA of a champion come through here in late innings.
Well, those 3 doubles got Charles Bishop hoarse. Charles Bishop's voice is going out. I don't know if
championship blue blood.
Hey, what did you say? How many championships, Coach Cador?
30.
Yeah, I think that qualifies. Here's a fastball high. You talk about HBCU baseball blue bloods, you can put Southern University right there with all the championships they won, and other programs too. Jackson State, Graham. I mean, you can rank them however way you want them. But the Jaguars, with 3 extra base hits in this inning, have rallied and have a 4-2 lead. There could be another extra base hit, but it's going to be caught in right. Hung up a little, caught in right side, is retired, but the Jaguars bat around here. 3 extra base hits, and they strand 1. 3 runs in the top of the 8th inning. So from being down 2-0 to up 4-2, Jaguars with the lead. But the Wildcats coming up with 8-9-1. Alasan, Garcia on top of the lineup. Guerrero coming up after this timeout. Jaguars by 2 here on the SWAC Digital Network.
That's a pretty tight spot.
Watch this.
Of course your Buick parks itself. That's so you.
It's just up here on the right.
Of course you know where we're going. That's so you.
Kinda got a 6th sense.
And a head-up display.
They're here.
I hit the field, warm up. You brought all these players in your Buick?
Yep.
So you.
It is.
There's a Buick that fits your life because at the heart of every Buick SUV is you.
Back here in Atlanta at McNeese Ballpark. A good one here. Second game in a row in which we've seen some late inning work. It was FAMU pulling away and the Jaguars with some late inning work. And a pitching change for the Jaguars here as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Jeremy Garcia will lead it off. He's 0 for 2, struck out and fly to right. Fastball strike called. And we're underway here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Glad you can join us here on the SWAC Digital Network. James Crenshaw, producer. Charles Bishop in the dugouts, down on the field. Roger Cato, the Hall of Famer. I'm Charles Edmond. Two good ones here halfway through. 4-2. Jaguars have rallied from 2-0 down. Both starting pitchers are done, and here's a base hit. Bethune-Cookman's not done. It's Garcia with a leadoff single here in the bottom of the 8th inning to get things started for the Wildcats.
Remember, going to the bullpen is something that we got to determine whether or not it's worth it. Is it hazardous or is it worth it?
Well, for the Jaguars, Enrique Ozoa on the mound. He was 2-1 during the year, 4 saves with a 2.37 earned run average in 19 innings pitched. There's a bunt down the right side, and it's fair. It's a fair ball, and he's out. Or snared at first. I like to look at that, Roger Cador, because that ball was hit.
Foul.
It's a fair ball. Right down the line, home plate umpire looking.
Oh, it's fair.
Yeah, it's a fair ball, and he tagged him out. It's a good play. Good play at first. Burgos moves the runner along.
What they're doing is saying we'll play for one run here.
Sean at the plate. High ball 1.
Small baseball.
Sean 0 for 2, fly to center, grounded to second, and walked. Tying run at the plate, runner at second. Wind blowing briskly now, left to right as Old Glory blowing pretty briskly. It's the strongest we've seen the wind so far here today's pitch strike called.
Why you call it Old Glory? Ain't nothing old about this. It's glory for beautiful.
Glorious
wind.
Glorious wind, and the flag is whipping. There's a foul straight back, and the wind has been a factor in some of these fly balls in the first game. A couple of deep fly balls kept in the ballpark.
Just remember, we're above sea level. Atlanta, that's what allegedly helped Hank Aaron a lot. It's alleged.
1-2 the count. The old Fulton County Stadium.
Yeah.
Here's the 1-2. Foul off to the left side. Of course.
Leave it to Hank. Hank told me that the thing that helped him more than anything when he got into the left the 60s and in the 70s was the live on pitchers. When the live on pitchers came, the ball started flying out of the park. They provided whatever he didn't have to provide. You got me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Minnie left the ballpark when he stepped to the plate.
Yeah.
Count is 2-2. 1 out. Runner at second. Jaguars with a 2-run lead. Zoa brings it home. Chops it foul. Down the right side. Back and forth game. Bethune-Cookman scored 2 in the 4th. The Jaguars with a run in the 5th, 3 here in the 8th, and the Wildcats up in the bottom of the 8th. The Jaguars with 3 extra bases in that 8th inning. They have 4 extra bases in this game.
This is why I usually didn't like closers who didn't throw hard. Because now he's got a trick. He's got to really be perfect, or he's got to trick the hitter. You got me? And that's one of the things with closers who are soft throws. Managers don't like them because they got to do a whole lot of things right.
They try to sneak a fastball through and just got a piece of it.
Yeah.
Stand corrected, 6 extra base hits for the Jaguars in this game. That's huge.
6 of the 8 hits?
Mm-hmm.
Should have had more runs.
4-2 Jaguars. The 3-2. Fly ball down the left side. It's going to be caught in left, one away. As Roland hauls it in. Stein run comes to the plate, runner at second.
Crenshaw's got to figure out how can he get 4 outs. 4 outs out of this pitcher without giving up more than 1 run. That's his goal. Can I get 4 more outs? And that's how you start thinking when you're down to this situation, you're thinking about outs now.
Yeah.
Outs of winning are really what's going to cause you to win or lose.
1-0 the count to Hall, the number 3 hitter for the Wildcats. Pitch swing and a miss. Bethune-Cookman, the number 2 seed in the East. They had a 14-game road trip, 14 straight on the road during the course of division play. They had a trip to Miami. That was a part of that. And after that, 14 in a row on the road. Jackson, Mississippi Valley. Had a bunch of games, some makeups and some other stuff. When you've got that many games away from home, Roger Cador, you find out a lot about your team.
Oh, yeah.
2-1 the count. Strike call, 2-2, and Hall didn't like that. Steps away, and the home plate umpire.
It looks pretty good from here.
Count is 2-2. Hall at 352 during the season. Watch the sail outside, full count. Full count, 3-2.
You know, I usually, even with my players, when they gripe about umpire calling a strike, I say, God, man, you know.
3-2 the count.
Oh, look at this.
Mile high, left side.
Oh, no, you got to.
And it's caught it short. It's a good play, a mile high in the air. Wiley, glove up, shielding himself, hauls it in. And one stranded. We go to the 9th inning here in Atlanta. As we approach the halfway point of day 1. Another good one, 4-2. Jaguars over Bethune-Cookman. Bottom of the lineup coming up after this timeout here on the Southwestern Athletic Conference Digital Network. We welcome you back to Atlanta. Glad you can join us. Game 1, in case you just missed it, Florida A&M beat Texas Southern 9-1. First pitch strike called. Wiley leading it off.
And Charles, you won't do game 3 with me. I'll be without you.
Santoria Black will bring you home for 2 exciting games.
He's going to bring me home? Santoria.
Santoria's going to. You're in good hands with Santoria Black. Santoria Black, Roger Cador, Charles Bishop will bring you home for the next 2. and looking forward to both of those games.
He better make sure I be nice.
Well, I have to make a confession. I wasn't nice to start this game.
Don't worry.
I arrived.
You were all right.
I arrived
Charles,
here a minute before we went on the air.
I don't want to hear it, Charles. That was a mistake.
It was a mistake.
Andrew Roberts gave you the wrong time.
No, Charles Edmond got it wrong. Andrew Roberts was calling me walking by him, and he was looking. I'm like, I know he's calling for me. James Crenshaw said you got 3 minutes.
We were all worried.
Yeah.
Because you're never late.
Charles Bishop was ready to do play-by-play.
I had him ready. I went and got him.
Warm him up in the bullpen. Here's a pitch, swing and a miss. Speaking of the bullpen, it's going to be a factor here before it's all said and done as Wiley goes down swinging. Charles Bishop was in position, ready to go. And speaking of ready to go, one of these teams is going to be ready to move on to the second winners game, and one of these teams is going to be ready to move to the losers bracket as we have time called, and the catcher for the Wildcats is shaking up here, Escobar. Boy, those you know, Roger Cato, I have so much respect for catchers. Their knees, you know, I mean, it just the backswings get them. Balls foul off of them. You know, you got borderline pitches that you don't get the call. The umpire's right behind you. I have a lot of respect for catchers. You know, you look at, in my era, Johnny Bench, Ted Simmons, you know, in the Hall of Fame, Johnny Bench. I mean, those guys, I don't know how their knees held up for all those years.
Yeah, well, you know, they do try to preserve catchers now by giving them days off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But Bench and them Simmons and them guys, they caught every game.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And just so anytime I see a catcher, you know, go down, you just hope that they're okay, because they're catching every pitch. You know, certain pitchers want certain catchers. You get that. You don't get it that much, but you do get it. And so you get all that stuff.
But I could tell you, this catcher is all right, okay? If he's hurt, he ain't stopping there. He's going to that dugout.
He's going straight to the dugout.
Oh, yes, indeed. Trust me.
So Jalen Armstrong at the plate for the Jaguars. 1 out here in the 9th inning. Southern with a 4-2 lead. Rally from 2-0 down. Pitches outside. Just a bit outside. 6 extra base hits for the Jaguars. That's the story in the game.
How many for Cookman?
How many for Bethune-Cookman? I have them for none. No extra base hits. All singles. Here's a fly ball into the left. And it's going to be caught there and left by Pena. Quickly 2 away. Well, as you look ahead to the bottom of the 9th inning, it'll be the middle of the lineup coming up for Bethune-Cookman. I mean, right now the Wildcats only have 4 hits. The Jaguars have out-hit the Wildcats 8-4. The pitch strike called.
Well, I'm thinking more now Southern. What they've got to do, they got to get 3 outs. Bethune-Cookman got to get a man on base with the possibility of the hitter doing some damage. If not, then get them 2 people on and the hitter doing some damage. So there are a couple of ways how Cookman could really do it. And it's all predicated on getting somebody on base.
Yeah.
Nothing can happen unless they get somebody on base.
Yep, that's the case. Count is 1 and 2. They need 2 to tie, at least right now.
Right now, yeah.
It's still 2 out in the inning.
2 to tie.
There's the 1-2. This is outside 2 and 2. Halfway through the 2023 SWAC baseball tournament, game number 3 will feature Bama State, the 1 seed. The 1 seeds will be up next. Bama State and Prairie View. Here's a swing and a miss, and the side is retired, and the stage is set for the bottom of the 9th inning. Southern 4, Bethune-Cookman 2. We'll take a timeout here. Buckle up, bottom of the 9th coming up after this on the SWAC Digital Network. Bottom of the 9th inning, the Jaguars hanging to a 4-2 lead. It's pitch strike call. Don't forget after the game, the player of the game, Jaguars hang on and win this game. Gustavo Nava-Sanchez with 3 doubles, 3 for 4. We'll talk with him. Here's a shot in the left center field. It's a base hit. Extra bases maybe here. A long single, and Bethune-Cookman's not going down quietly here in the bottom of the 9th.
Well, they did the one thing we said they had to do, is get a man on base. Now it's up for Southern to nullify this by hitting a double play, getting a double play ball here.
Moya at the plate. Moya's RBI single put the Wildcats up 1-0. Grounded to short fly to center. He's 1 for 3. Here's the pitch. He's a foul off to the right. Bottom of the 9th inning.
You got the ideal hitter. He's got heavy legs, so he's not going to run fast. So you may be in business.
Zoa trying to finish it up. We got a pinch runner here for Bethune-Cookman. A little speed.
Look like he can run.
Some speed on the bases. Malik Stevens. Stevens, speed, trying to get that 3rd run in, but the tying run's at the plate. Zoa brings it home. Strike called. And Moya didn't like the call.
Well, I'm not surprised because he took it. His job is to hit that ball, man.
He represents the tying run. Zoa brings it home. This is outside. It's funny how when a hitter does not like the call for the umpires, the umpires will quickly usher them back in the batter's box.
Yeah.
Of course, umps don't like to be shown up.
No, they don't.
Here's the 1-2. Chopper to 3rd. And the throw across offline, but a good glove there at first. A little offline at 3rd by Tab, but when you got a good first baseman and O'Neal Burgos, he can bail you out. Slow dribbler, 4 hops. Burgos with the tag. Well, runner at 2nd. Manny Soufrain at the plate. He represents the tying run. Soufrain has struck out twice and flied to 1st. Pitch to Soufrain, a fly ball left
Now,
side.
he's a guy that appears. It appears that you can time up with a fastball up because his bat is not that fast. So I would be trying to do fastball up on him.
Soufrain with 3 home runs during the season, represents the tying run. Brings it home, misses outside. This is near the bottom of the lineup here. This is number 6 hitter for the Wildcats. The Jaguars were down 2-0. They got 1 in the 5th, 3 in the 8th, 3 doubles.
The wind is blowing out to right.
Pitch swing and a miss.
See. Please stay hard here. If I
The winner of this game will get the winner of Grambling Jackson. The loser of this game will play the loser of that game. The winner of this game will play tomorrow night. The loser will play tomorrow at 12.
There you go.
Just got a piece of it and fouled it back. Coming up next, Alabama State and Prairie, the 1 seeds, the 1-4 matchups. Santoria Black will have a call with Hall of Famer Roger Cador and Charles Bishop. Pretty good interviews, some good stuff from both head coaches mid-game. Trying to do something a little different.
No Charles Edmond.
Charles Edmond will be checking the things out from afar. His pitch just missed.
You pick your schedule. In the cool in the morning, you work and then
I was late this morning.
You had nothing to do with it.
I was late this morning.
You had game 1 and 2. Don't tell.
I would have been here probably 20 minutes earlier if it wasn't for the Atlanta traffic traveling a block and a half. Here's a little flare. They had to shift on, caught it second, and they've got the runner doubled up, and that is the game. Game inning double play. The game is over. Hendricks, they had the shift on, and they had him play perfectly. Runner was going, and he was doubled up, and that'll do it. The Jaguars win it 4-2. Let's take a look at that, Roger Cador. Second baseman was in shallow right. They had him play perfectly. Runner was gone. Off a second, an easy double play. 4-6 DP, and that's your ball game. The Jaguars get it done. So the Jaguars, the winner of game 2 by the score of 4-2. And so Southern will play the winner of Grambling Jackson later, and Bethune-Cookman will play the loser of that game tomorrow at 12 o'clock. So our hope is to get with Gustavo Nava-Sanchez, who was huge in this game with 3 doubles. His double kept the inning going. Ratcliffe's double gave the Jaguars the lead. And Southern with 6 extra base hits in this game. As Gustavo Nava-Sanchez, 3 for 4, 3 doubles, and he's standing by, I believe, with head coach with
Charles.
Charles.
It's Tab right now.
Oh, it's Tab. Oh, do we have Tab? I think we might have Nava-Sanchez coming up here. I think
he's in the crowd back there.
Yeah, they're gonna do their huddle up here. But the Jaguars, Roger Cador, I have to believe that they're really happy how they battled back. They grinded. They were down. They left some runners on base early. But it doesn't matter what you do early, it's what you do late. The Jaguars came through late.
Exactly. And again, it goes back to the tradition of being able to win games that doesn't look good and you won it. So they did well. This guy.
And Chris Crenshaw having a word with him. Well, when you can win these early games, and then you don't play till later. I mean, the Jaguars don't play again until 6 o'clock tomorrow night. And, of course, the weather's going to be fine. But you don't know how long these games are going to go. And so when you're in that situation in which you don't play until later on day 2, you don't know how long these games are going to go. If everything goes to schedule, it starts at 6, but we might have some extra inning games in which things get backed up a little bit. And, you know, a former coach told me that for the tournament, you know, once the game is over, players kind of do their thing and just they come to the ballpark if they want to. If they don't, they don't. Just get off their feet. And the Jaguars will have that luxury as Gustavo Navas Sanchez, 3 doubles, 3 for 4, and he's standing by with Charles Bishop.
I got Nick Wilson here at starting pitcher today. He was a complete bulldog on the mound today. Talk about your outing.
I think it was just go out and just do the same thing I've been doing for the past couple of weeks. Been pitching hot, and so I just want to keep that going.
You did a good job of changing the batter's eyesight during the course of the game. Just talk about your mindset going into how you were going to pitch Bethune-Cookman.
I think it was just going to stick with the slider fastball, and if I can execute that, I know I'm going to be really good. And so I think the focus was just being me, you know, because sometimes, like in these kind of moments, I try to do too much, but just being me is what's going to work every time.
No doubt. Go celebrate with your teammates, buddy. Sure thing.
All right, hey, if you want a star, what about it, Roger Cador? Nicholas Wilson won 5 games during the regular season, 5-2 with a 3.28 earned run average. Really came through. And we also have another interview. Charles Bishop, back to you.
Yeah, I got Gustavo Navas Sanchez. Huge game at the plate today. Talk about going up against a tough pitcher like Nick Santo.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we knew it was going to be tough. We just came prepared mentally to compete. That was really the plan of the play. Just compete, give the best of ourselves, and just put quality of at-bat after quality of at-bat. Really, I just trusted my teammates, trusted myself, and trusted the preparation that we had until this point.
What's the secret to the sauce, man? You guys always have some late inning magic. We always see you guys turning on in the 7th inning here in the SWAC tournament.
Well, they call those the championship innings, that's 7, 8, 9, and that's when we got to stick together. That's when you got to trust the people next to you, and you got to work for those that are around you. It's really bigger than yourself, and those 7, 8, 9 innings, that's when you work for the name on your chest.
No doubt about it. Good job.
Yes, sir. Thank you,
sure thing.
The Jaguars, appreciate it, Charles Bishop. Good job, back-to-back interviews there. And so let's start with that, Coach Cador. You got Nick Wilson, who did a nice job. Talk about his effort in keeping his team in it.
Yeah, he kept the team in it, and he did what he's been doing the last 5 or 6 outings, is to go deep into the game and allow Chris to go to his bullpen and not have to use a multitude of pitchers.
And then finally, Coach, you've got Navas Sanchez with 3 doubles. He definitely offensively got it done.
He got it done, and they got a couple of 2-out hit there, and it all worked out for him.
Well, the Jaguars win game 1. They don't play till tomorrow night. We'll step aside. Coming up next, Santoria Black will bring it home for you as Alabama State featured up next here on the SWAC Digital Network, as Alabama State will take on Prairie. Should be a good one. Coach Vasquez and Coach Antoine Riggins doing battle in game 3, and then the big matchup, game 4, Grambling and Jackson State in the nightcap. I'm Charles Edmond. Pleasure to be with you. Sorry I was late. Just got on. And Santoria Black will bring you home the next couple of games here on the SWAC Digital Network. We'll talk to you later, folks. Good baseball. So long.